Hey everybody, welcome to Branch Pride. This is our resource center and we want to thank you all for joining us. We have a few speakers and then we're going to do the ribbon cutting right immediately following. So if you have not signed the ribbon, it's located right here at this black table right in front. Please sign the ribbon. We're going to hold it up here after the speeches. The Chamber of Commerce is here. We also want to thank the Lions Club who we've partnered with. They're over here in the blue, and if they're looking for new members, a bunch of us have decided to join the Lions and they're doing their membership drive. It's a worthwhile organization and we've partnered up with them. Around here somewhere is Kappa, and we've partnered with Kappa also. So she can give you information on Kappa this evening. But we want to thank you all for coming. I'm going to let our director of the LGBT Center and my right-hand woman, I don't let her use her left, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Becca Hampton.
I did bring a stool because I'm 4'11", but I think you can see me okay, so. All right, everybody, on behalf of Branch Pride, I want to welcome you all. Thank you so much for coming. A lot of you know me. I'm Becca Hampton. I have a lot of titles in Branch Pride, but my favorite and the one I'm most proud of is being the co-director of the center, along with Chris. We're so happy to celebrate this grand opening. It's been a long time coming, and this day, today, is a historical day. Today we cut the ribbon. We open the doors to the first LGBT community building in Branch County. And it's aimed not only at the community of LGBT, but our allies, our families, and everything in between. So we want to say that we're here, we're proud, and we're full of pride. And we're showing all of our neighbors today. Today's also the day that we were supposed to hold our first Pride rally and festival, and unfortunately we had to postpone that a couple months because of COVID. So it was sad when we had to cancel the original event, but I think this makes up for it. So we're still celebrating, just in a different way. But also, and most importantly, today is June 28th. And it's a day that went down in history long before any of us imagined this building and long before a lot of us were born. But on this day in 1969 in Greenwich Village, a bar where gay people loved to hang out, that was a place where they could have a safe haven, was taken over by the police. And the riots that ensued sparked the new era that led the gay pride movement. And we would not be here if it wasn't for that. Those riots that happened that night went full force for days and spread across the country, and those are the people that we should be thanking for this. And I can't pick a better day to have this open house because that's why we're here. But we're making history today. Thank you for being part of it. I'm going to turn this over to Sylvia Gruner, who is our spiritual director for Branch Pride, and she is going to say a little prayer for our opening. And where is she at? Okay. And then we'll continue with speeches, and you'll hear more from me in a little while.
Okay, can I ask you to bow your heads, please? Dear Lord, we thank you, first of all, for such a beautiful day to have this. We are very, very happy to have a place now for people to be safe. Please bless the efforts of Becca and Chris and everybody else with a lot of success, and let this center go on for years and years and years and give people a place to go. And please help us to show people that you love the whole world, not just a few. We ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, now we're going to have Mary Beth Blonde, who is the owner of Coldwater Yoga and the person who was gracious enough to let us enter her safe space and take some of her zen away.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. It's so awesome to see all of you here. I wanted to just share a short story that when I grew up here in Branch County. I grew up in Sherwood, and my family made kind of a name for ourselves, and I moved away for a long time, and when I finally moved back to Coldwater in 2016, I was a little hesitant because I remember having these feelings that Coldwater is extremely conservative and that everyone is can be hurtful, and I was ashamed of some of the things that I have done in the past and that my family has done in the past, and I told myself that this next time I come in, Coldwater is going to be a great adventure for me and for everyone around, and I have done everything I can to make sure that this space that I've started is a community center. When Chris approached me for renting, and I just said yes right away. When I was 9 years old, I had a man come to my house, and we lived out in the country. We had this long driveway, and my mom told me to go inside, don't come out. And my mom went out and spoke with him, and he hung his head low and walked to his car and drove away. And I later found out that that was my uncle that I had never met before, and he died of HIV, he died of AIDS. And I told myself at that very moment that I would be an ally for the LGBT community, and I'm just so happy to see this, to see everyone here today. This is history in the making. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a support. And I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Thank you, Mary Beth. And thank you, Sylvia. That was amazing. All right, so as I said earlier, I am Becca Hampton. I am the co-director of the center. I also I came on board with Chris when she first started looking for her board member for Branch Pride. We were just founded in 2019, in December. So that tells you a lot. From December till now, how much we have done. Between building the nonprofit, getting our nonprofit status, putting together a community center, we have done so much. And it's all because of her. Honestly, we could not do it without her. So thank you for bringing me on board and trusting me and putting up with all my crazy ideas. When I first signed up to be part of the Branch Pride board, I came on as a prevention specialist. Chris had wanted me to team up with an organization called CARES and get training in doing HIV testing. And I was really excited about that, and we had planned on putting condoms in all the bars in Branch County so they're available for free without having to go to the health department and having to have an appointment and meet with somebody and tell them what you need. That shouldn't be an issue. So that's how I came on board. And as many of you hear Chris and I bickering like little old ladies, she always gives me a lot more work to do. And I soon became treasurer and most recently secretary. So pretty much I'm the one that's blowing up Facebook or making the obnoxious Facebook Live videos and in your face most of the time. So. I was at a yoga class one day. I walked in the door and Chris said, "Come here, I gotta show you this." Pulled me into the back room, and I didn't even know that existed. I had been coming to yoga 5 days a week with Mary Beth, and I didn't know there was another half to the building. And what we saw would scare most people away. It was years and years of neglect, of trash, of debris. It needed help, it needed love, but we both saw a vision, and we reached out to the community on Facebook. We had, within days, a cleaning party. We had trash hauled out, we had walls bleached, we had walls painted, and then again we reached out and asked for donations, and before long we had a living room and TVs and computers. Everything here pretty much was donated, and we are so appreciative to all of you for that. I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of love and support. So why did we open this resource center? What was the need? Well, we knew we needed a home base, especially with Branch Pride organization being so new. We needed a place that we could meet, we could have our meetings. That was important. But we also needed a place for the LGBT community in Coldwater and their families and allies to come together and meet friends, to feel safe, to have a sense of community, to offer programs. there was a big need, and we didn't even realize how big at the time. And since the day we started this, it's just snowballed into many, many other things. But what we really want is this to be a second home, a place to kick back, to show up. If we're here, stop by and say hi. I mean, we are trying to bring people together, and that means all of you. I'm short, sorry. And like everything else, it just happened before we knew it, and I'm just so excited to be here today. We have a dining room to host holiday dinners for those people in need. We have a library filled with books, including a large LGBT section that people can sign out and take home and read anytime. We have a creativity corner, which most of you probably can tell I'm pretty creative, so that was my little contribution. I'm hoping in the future we can do more large events like this and bring people together. But Mindy Caprelli is the leader of our support group, and they're all peer-based. We have a room just for her, so people have a quiet room to talk and share what they need to share. So some of the things we have going on real quick. Chris is going to go over most of the programs and stuff, but the things I'm most passionate about is we have Friday Fun Nights are going to be the first and third Friday of every month. They're going to be different every time, but mostly fun activities. Our first one is this Friday, and I really hope everyone shows up. It's going to be a meet and greet. I want to do some fun icebreaker games, get everybody laughing, break the ice, and kind of ease some tension. We all want to form friendships and make a family here. That's what our goal is. The second Friday Fun Night will be on the 17th. That will be a movie night. We are going to be watching Milk. That is rated R, so kids, that's your call. But we will have popcorn snacks, and there'll always be food here. We have a kitchen. Our door's always open. If you need something to eat, if you need a drink, if you need to stop by, I mean, our door's here. There's also the book club. We will be meeting on the last Wednesday of every month. We just picked our July selection, so I'm excited to get started on that. And all the information's on the board when you walk in if you ever want to see. We also have Facebook groups for both of those events. But there's no limit to the things that we can do here. We have so much love pouring out from all of you, and thank you so much for coming out today. I want to thank, again, Chris for pulling this together, Mary Beth for letting us use her space, and thank you to my family who puts up with me being on my phone or computer for endless hours every day, or me randomly running out the door saying I have to do something at the center. But I have a feeling that this is just the beginning of something great. So thank you for coming. And now let's give it up for, I think Chris is coming back up.
So you can hear me. Do you see how we bicker? Hi everybody and welcome. This all started with, I had met Mary Jean, who's back there cooking, on Facebook, and she said, oh, Branch County really needs somewhere we can hang out on Facebook. And I said, well, we'll make the group. And within I think it was the third day, I had like 200 people. And so by the end of it, I think we were at 500, and then here we are now. I think we're moments from being 800 people in our group. And in that time, I just had met Mary Beth because I was chubby and I needed yoga. And the gym would cause muscles that I do not want to have. So I met Mary Beth and I said, this is going really big, but I think we need a resource center because everyone keeps wanting support group and activities. And she said, girl, come with me. And so we went to this back room back here, this back building, and there was stuff packed to the ceiling. And she said, landlord said we can do whatever we want. And so a week later, we had it emptied out, and this is our new resource center, thanks to the community. This organization is now a 501(c)(3). I did not spend a single week off the phone with the federal government. If any of y'all know, it takes years to get a 501(c)(3). I called them every single day and honestly believed they said I need to shut this person in Branch County up and give them their 501(c)(3). I had it within 2 months. That is unheard of. Our organization until this month had never gotten a grant. we had sat with $1,000, $4,000 steady in our bank account thanks to you guys, the community. We just kept having fundraisers and you guys just kept donating money. It wasn't until our first grant because of COVID that the United Way gave us to pay the rent that we'd even gotten a grant, and there's some more to come. Most of you know that I grew up here in Coldwater, Michigan as a student council person. I was a cross-country runner. I was the very first male ever to try to be a cheerleader in this town. And it was a great success. I got amazingly high scores, and then came the next day in the principal's office after auditions, and the principal said, my parents were there, Chris, we cannot give you a cheerleader costume. This is the 80s. So I was given the cardinal costume and told I needed to wear that. It wasn't until I was much older that I realized that cardinal costume was Coldwater's way of making sure no one could see a male cheerleader. No one could see an excited gay male wanting to do a sport. I was made to hide who I was. When I moved back here after my father's death, I had already transitioned to female, lived a wonderful life, and had been a life coach and ran a few nightclubs. I knew with purpose that no one would ever live the life that I had lived. I would be an absolute advocate for the community that I am. No one should ever have to hide who they are or what their intentions are in life. Just live your life and be free. And so that was my main purpose for making this resource center and this organization for the community. This isn't just a LGBTQ community program, Branch Pride. It's huge with the allies. None of us could have gotten our rights, couldn't have the lives we have if we didn't have the support of the heterosexual community saying, we believe in you and we love you. So the allies are a huge part of Branch Pride, and I thank you all. Some of you may know that we're in the process of writing a bunch of grants, and we're going to take this program even further. On August 29th, on a Saturday at Parkers Park, will be our very first Branch County Gay Pride celebration. I will tell you that it was record-breaking. We have over 85 vendors. That is unheard of for any event in Coldwater, Michigan, already paid to be a vendor at that event. So please come out and join us on that date. We would love to have you. There will be games, activities. We're not doing the food this time. We have vendors and food trucks coming. But beyond that, I'm about to start a new venture. We wrote some programs for our support group. And for those of you who do not know, we have a support group every Saturday here at Branch Pride. We have a teen support group. We have a LGBT support group. We have a trans support group. And we have a family support group. So we wrote some grants to get those going and have bigger and better things happen. But we have a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and a 5 year plan. And my biggest plan is to open Branch County's first Rainbow House. And it'll be for the state of Michigan is how we are writing the grant. It'll be a Rainbow House to hold LGBT teens who have been kicked out of their house and have nowhere to live. So we're going to create that space, a home that they can live. Also, then you have been in an LGBT relationship, sometimes like other relationships, they don't last. And one person is the breadwinner and the other person is left homeless. That house will also hold LGBT people who are in transition to get back on their feet from a broken relationship. Everyone deserves a place to have a home. So we're working on a Rainbow House, and we hope with your prayers and energy that will become a success for us. I also work at Family Promise, you all, and so homelessness and people being able to eat are really important to me. We have a food in a kitchen here. If anyone is ever hungry during the day, please join us here for a nice meal. I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to meet. All I can say is I thank you all for being here. On my way here today, I told Becca how, I was bawling on my way here. I never thought that just a little Facebook group would have drew the community support that it has and love for each other. I only knew Coldwater with hate. My memories of Coldwater were nothing but hate. Some of you may know that I was beaten almost to in a coma here when I left. I was left to die on the streets just because of who I was. And no one else should ever have to experience that in Coldwater, and it is my duty to make sure that that never ever happens. And I love you all, and our next speaker is Lori, is it? We decided to partner up with some organizations. We recently joined the Chamber of Commerce. We've partnered up with Michigan Humanities, who's going to be paying for our books for our book club. I hope you all take time to go through here. Ladies and gentlemen, and other people we have partnered with an organization that I truly, truly believe in. Not only is it the Lions over here, but I also believe in Kappa and all that they do. And we also want to let you all know that the domestic violence shelter gave us the furniture that is in that room tonight. With Kim's kindness and her organization, said come pick out whatever you need. That is generosity and that is community spirit. And please support that organization with everything they do, because their hearts are always in the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the people we partnered with, and my good friend, and I hope you all get to love her too. She is the director of the Kappa program for Coldwater, Michigan. The very beautiful and the very mindful. This woman is brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, Lori Labande.
Wow, now I have a reputation to live up to. Hi, everybody. I'm here to talk about what today means for the youth of Branch County. I'm excited to be here today to represent Kappa, which is the Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Council of Branch County. Our vision at Kappa is that Branch County children will gain resiliency through nurturing homes and communities while living in a safe, healthy environment free of abuse, neglect, violence, or endangerment of any kind. And this includes our LGBTQ youth, who can be particularly vulnerable to the cruelties of the world. In 2019, the Trevor Project conducted the National Survey on LGBTQ youth mental health, surveying over 34,000 youth across the country. This groundbreaking survey provides new insights into the challenges that LGBTQ youth across the country face every day, including suicide, feeling sad or helpless, discrimination, homelessness, physical threats, and exposure to conversion therapy. The data provides a sobering look at how far we still have to go to protect our LGBTQ youth, their young lives, but the survey also reveals the resilience and diversity the LGBTQ youth provides guidance on what we can do to enable them to survive and thrive. Among some of the key findings of the report, 39% seriously considered attempting suicide in the past 12 months, with more than half of transgender and non-binary youth having seriously considered suicide. 71% reported feeling sad or hopeless for at least 2 weeks in the past year. Less than half of the respondents reported that they were out to an adult at school, with youth less likely to disclose their gender rather than their sexual orientation. 2 in 3 youth reported that someone tried to convince them to change their sexual orientation or their gender identity, with youth who have gone through conversion therapy more than twice as likely to attempt suicide as those who did not. And another not fun fact about Michigan, the number of counties in Michigan that have an ordinance prohibiting conversion therapy for minors is 0. 0 out of 83 counties. The report also stated that 71% reported discrimination due to either their sexual orientation or their gender identity. 58% of transgender and non-binary youth reported being discouraged from using a bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity. 98% said a safe space social networking site for LGBTQ youth would be valuable to them. And according to the Voices of Youth count, LGBT youth are 120% more likely to experience homelessness than their straight and cisgender peers. These are alarming statistics, and some of you might be thinking, not my kids, not our community. So let's break these numbers down for Branch County. I extrapolated the data. These are not facts. This is an estimated projection based on the U.S. Census Bureau. Approximately 700 current or potential LGBT youth currently live in Branch County. Potentially 273 LGBTQ youth in Branch County may have seriously considered attempting suicide in the past 12 months, with more than half of transgender and non-binary youth having seriously considered suicide. Potentially 497 LGBTQ youth in Branch County may have reported feeling sad or hopeless for at least 2 weeks in the past year. Potentially, 497 LGBTQ youth in Branch County may have reported discrimination due to either their sexual orientation, gender identity. Potentially, 700 LGBTQ youth in Branch County may have 120% increase to be at risk for homelessness. I've thrown a lot of numbers. I'm kind of a data numbers nerd, but I've thrown a lot of numbers, but the number that I want to focus, and the reason that I'm here today, back to the Trevor Project survey, 98% of the respondents said a safe space, social networking site for LGBT youth would be valuable to them. That equates to 686 Branch County youth would find value in a safe space, social networking site specifically for them. Our youth have spoken, or at the very least, they are trying to speak. I applaud Ms. Chris Boger and her team for listening, for channeling their vision, their passion, and their dedication for opening a community resource center that will provide a safe space to unite, educate, and engage people to support and empower LGBTQ plus community and allies with a special emphasis on youth. I look forward with hope and anticipation of partnering with Branch Pride Community Resource Center to ensure that all Branch County children, including our LGBTQ youth, will gain resiliency through nurturing homes and communities while living in a safe, healthy environment, free of abuse, neglect, violence, or endangerment of any kind. Nelson Mandela said, "Safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of collective consensus and public investment. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens of our society, a life free of violence and fear." Thank you, Chris, for your vision. Thank you, team, for your hard work and dedication to make this critical resource in our community happen. Welcome.
Told y'all she was smart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 speakers left, and they're 2 very, very important people in my life. The next speaker is a mother of a young LGBT person, and I wanted a parent's perspective on the LGBT movement in this center. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage my friend, Melissa Schatz.
Hey there. I'm a gifted public speaker, so I'm in for a big treat if I can get through even a line of this without crying. I'm here to celebrate with all of you. This center means the world to me. I became a mom at 19. The circumstances were less than ideal. It wasn't exactly planned out, but as soon as I became a mom, my life changed entirely. Suddenly, my life had meaning and purpose, and that love that I had for my child gave me strength to be more than I was, to be healthier than the way I was raised, and just strength to be the person that I wanted to be. But my strength was nothing compared to the strength that my son showed when he came out to his family at 14. I don't have a story about how I had to overcome my initial grief or shock when my son came out, because I wasn't sad, not one bit, and I wasn't surprised at all. But his father had a different reaction. He was not affirming. He was angry, judgmental, and even cruel. My son was able, even at that young age, to see his father's reaction for what it was: fear and ignorance. But those scars, they last a lifetime, and the hurt's real. Yet, Jesse, my son, was lucky because he had at least one supportive parent. A lot of people, a lot of kids out there don't have at least one supportive parent or family member. And what difference does that make? The answer is profound. The statistics, and Lori just went over some of the same statistics, but they're important. They show that suicide is the second leading cause of death for our youth today. And among LGBTQ youth, they are 4 times more likely to consider suicide, to make a plan, or to attempt suicide than their peers. According to the Trevor Project, there are 1.8 million LGBTQ youth between the ages of 13 and 24 that seriously consider suicide each year. 1.8 million. According to the Human Rights Campaign, only 24% of LGBTQ youth report that they can feel comfortable being themselves at home. Think about that. That's 75% of these kids don't feel comfortable being who they are at home, the place where they should feel safe, secure, and loved for who they are. These statistics reflect the state of our world and our nation, and that's on us to change. We must do better for these kids. They're the future. We can be that change, and this is part of it, a huge part. Thank you so much, Chris, and everybody on the board. From a mother's heart, thank you. We must continue to open our minds, our hearts, and use our voices to fight for them, not for mere tolerance, but for respect, understanding, inclusion, and equality, for their seat at the table in a world with less ignorance and hate. Myself, I will speak out loudly and proudly, and I will crawl through glass to vote, because we cannot allow decades of hard-won civil rights progress to be eroded, and there is much work to do. I say to anyone out there, if you do not have a supportive parent or family member, I'm your mom now. And there's an army of us right here in Branch County that are here for you. We're moms, dads, brothers, and sisters here to let you know that you are loved and you belong, and this is your community, and this is your home. Welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. All right, our last speaker of this evening just so happens to be my bestest gal pal in the whole wide world. We've caused problems throughout the city together. I don't even see her. Where is she?
Right here.
Oh, Grandma, I'm glad you decided to join us. Listen, every time we go somewhere in public, I always tell them she's my grandma. All right, everybody, right after Terry's speech is going to start the dance music, but those of you who also notice why the dance music is going, we're going to take the ribbon and we're going to go over to the center and we're going to cut the ribbon with our councilwoman for this ward, the very beautiful Emily Rossman. Where is she? Emily, wave. She's somewhere.
She's way back there.
Oh.
Back there. Way back there.
Thanks for hiding in the corner, girl. Also, the Chamber of Commerce is here. This is Caden Sparks. Everybody, give him a big round of applause. He's keeping Branch County together. Honestly, if any of you had been a part of the Branch County business in the past, it was nothing like it is today. He has absolutely overturned what's happening in Branch County to make this a wonderful community to live in for the businesses and the citizens. And this town owes Caden Sparks a great big thank you for making that happen for Branch County. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your next speaker is a very, very good friend of mine. And I only say that because she writes my check, because she's my boss. Other than that, I just think she's a troublemaker and a great girl to hang out with, and I love her dearly, everybody. My friend, and hopefully now yours, the beautiful Terry Huffman.
I don't know why everybody just thinks I get in trouble. I want to welcome my family that is here and my friends from Jackson. I was so excited to see them all show up. It is a complete and total honor to be speaking with you all today, and I want you to know I wore this necklace specifically for this because Chris calls me a fruit fly because I like to hang out with all you guys. And so I want everybody to know that's what I am. Now wear it proud. When I was gathering my thoughts for today, I thought about my 30-day relationship with Chris. It was a friendship from the very start. And I thought about the impact she has had on my life during this time, 30 days. It all started over me wanting rainbow pins for my food pantry apron. Although I wouldn't let her in my house upon delivery because of the COVID virus, Based on our conversation, I knew we would have a future together. I look out at all my new friends that I have met through Chris, and I couldn't be happier. Chris is not the first trans friend I've had in Coldwater. In 1994, when I was working with the female prisoners at the Florence Crane Correctional Facility as an assistant deputy warden, the librarian came to me and told me he was going to be transitioning to be a female. And I needed to make arrangements to ensure there would be no discrimination upon her return to work. What? In 1994, there was no Google to tell me how to do this. We had non-discrimination policies, but that was for other kinds of harassment, not this. In the end, it was the prisoners and their kindness that made Stephanie's transition back to work a smooth one. They were loving and kind to her and made this 6'4" woman more comfortable in her own skin and world. Unfortunately, this story does not have a happy ending though. As Stephanie became more confident, she became more social. She began to join clubs and churches and began to attend dance activities. Stephanie had actually been saved at the Oasis of Love on a Friday evening, and at Saturday's service had shared a testimony. Stephanie met Johnny Brown, a transient vagabond, at this service. Stephanie offered Johnny Brown housing for the night, and they developed a one-night intimate relationship during which Johnny Brown murdered her on December 4th, 1994. Stephanie didn't even have 1 year in transition. She was 44. If Stephanie had had a center like this to come to and make safe friends, I truly believe she would be alive and happy today. The importance of what you all have done here is immeasurable. The solitude that you will offer to those in our community that need a safe zone is infinite, it is vast, and it is what love is all about. It is my privilege this afternoon to announce that the Pride Center of Coldwater has plans for a Transition Scholarship to assist trans people who are experiencing financial difficulties with medical procedures that insurance wouldn't cover. This scholarship will be out of the Stephanie Kissler Memorial Fund, which you all can donate towards today. I would like to take this opportunity to have Chris step up here. We have a memorial piece for the center to have in prideful memory, Stephanie Kissler, August 2nd, 1950 to December 4th, 1994. I will leave you with this. Diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. I am so happy to be part of your dance team. So let's dance.
Information station, sign in, sign out, rules, policies, please, all the good legal stuff. We are working on a sign-up sheet for minors. That'll be separate. Anytime you leave or come in the center, make sure that's documented. Also have sanitizer masks. Welcome to anybody that wants them. This is Chris's office, which, I mean, I do most of the work, so I don't know if she does the office, but also the wonderful rainbow mural we've been working on. This will be the information center. I'm trying to keep everything in one place, starting calendar of events, Pride Festival support group, our Friday fun nights, book club news. So anything that's going on or anything that we're working on, we'll try to have it in one spot. So you can just come in and see what we got that week. This is support group. I don't have a ton to do with support group. I think the youth, trans, family, and LGBT support groups on Saturdays, and I believe every other Sunday. So this is their area, nice private space. And this is my favorite room. It's all done on the lending basis, so come in. You can either sit here, plop down on the couch, read a book, or you can sign your name and the title of the book on the sheet and just bring it back when you're done. Just bring it back in one piece. So we have a LGBT section started here. We have some more books on the way, but we are looking for more book donations. Games, we are going to do game nights and kind of family activities. We also have a children's area, so I mean it is family friendly. Bring your kids. We have, you know, goodies here too if anybody needs them. We are supplying condoms and lube. They're available in almost every single room. This is a work in progress, but it is a functional kitchen, so if you're hungry, we can feed you. We can make it work somehow with a hot plate and a microwave, but we'll get some food pushed out. Yeah, we have some plans, do some holiday dinners, do Christmas, Thanksgiving, also on Friday fun nights. I want everyone to come in and eat and relax and really be a fun atmosphere. So this was kind of the last room we threw together, but our shelves are stocked. That's the most important part. When I head back through here, we'll go out to the community center. Mingle and talk to people. They were making deviled eggs in here earlier, so it's a little stinky still, but this is going to be the main living area. Our retail shelves are usually stocked full. All that stuff's outside, so we also have jewelry available. Chris used to sell jewelry, so that's all here for purchase.
A quick question about this. Do you take like new people like giving stuff to sell kind of thing?
We haven't been asked yet, but I'm sure if you want to meet with me or reach out to me, and we can discuss it.
Because I just make earrings.
Do you? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk about that. We have the area and the space for it. We have the furniture and couches and everything were donated by Domestic Violence Shelter. We want people to be able to step in, take your shoes off, pick up, and
donation.
Yeah, like sit and watch TV with us. Like come hang out. That's the goal. Like we want this to be if you see our door open and our signs open, just come in and hang out with us. That's kind of the feel we want, and we want it to be homey, and I think we accomplished that. This is the creativity corner. Most colorful room in here besides the hallway. I am a crafter as well. I make jewelry. I make a lot of stuff like that. I used to work, or I used to run the Purple Place and do dream catchers and all that. But we're gonna do kids events. We're gonna have arts and crafts. I'm thinking maybe next month doing a cookies and canvas for the kids and have a painting party. I think that'd be super fun. But anytime kids are in here too, they can grab crayons and markers and activity books and sit down and work on that. I want to head through to your left here. This is our communal area between the yoga studio. We have a shared bathroom, but as long as everyone's respectful of any yoga classes that are going on, there's really no issues. And have either of you guys taken any of Mary Beth's classes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.